Have you ever noticed carpets of green leaves and flowers floating on a pond or stream? These lush mats seem to defy gravity, drifting effortlessly atop the water, creating a scene that feels almost enchanted. These are floating aquatic plants, nature's masters of living between water and air. They have evolved to thrive in a world where their roots rarely touch the soil, and their leaves bask in sunlight above the surface. They create a living, breathing blanket over the water, found everywhere from peaceful garden ponds to the vast, winding rivers of the Amazon. No matter where you look, these plants bring life and color to the water's surface. Thriving in still or slow-moving freshwater, they capture sunlight and transform the water's surface into a vibrant ecosystem. Their presence helps regulate temperature and light, making the pond a comfortable home for many species. These plants aren't just beautiful, they're vital, providing shade, shelter, and food for countless creatures. Fish hide beneath their leaves, frogs rest on their pads, and birds visit for a quick meal or a safe perch. A single lily pad or tiny duckweed may seem simple, but together, they form a bustling community. Each plant plays a role, supporting insects, amphibians, and even microorganisms that call these floating gardens home. Floating plants are pioneers, colonizing open water and transforming it completely. Over time, they can turn a bare pond into a lush green oasis teeming with life and activity. Their ability to live on water is a feat of natural engineering, not magic. Specialized roots dangle in the water, absorbing nutrients, while their leaves are designed to float and resist getting waterlogged. In this journey, we'll explore two of the most common examples: the elegant water lily, with its broad, showy leaves and flowers, and the tiny, mighty duckweed, which forms dense green carpets almost overnight. We'll uncover the secrets that keep them afloat and thriving, from their buoyant structures to their rapid growth and clever survival strategies. Discover how they breathe, eat, and grow in their unique environment. Learn how air pockets and tiny roots help them survive where few other plants can. And see just how crucial these floating plants are for the health of ponds and lakes. They filter water, provide food, and create safe spaces for wildlife to thrive. It's a miniature world, full of clever solutions and surprising connections. Every leaf and root is part of a delicate balance that supports life above and below the water. Let's dive into the world of floating wonders, where every ripple tells a story and every plant has a secret to share. The adventure begins at the water's edge, where the magic of floating gardens awaits your discovery. Let's start with the water lily, a plant of classic beauty, instantly recognizable and beloved by many for its serene presence on still waters. Water lilies have been celebrated in art for centuries, appearing in everything from ancient Egyptian carvings to Monet's famous paintings, symbolizing purity and tranquility. Its large, round leaves, lily pads, float like green plates, sometimes as wide as a dinner plate. These pads provide shelter for small fish and insects, and even act as landing spots for frogs and dragonflies. From the center, magnificent flowers emerge in white, pink, yellow, or blue, opening to the sun. Their blooms not only attract pollinators, but also add a splash of color to the pond's surface, making them a favorite among gardeners and nature lovers alike. In contrast, duckweed is one of the world's smallest flowering plants. It's easy to overlook, but its tiny size hides a fascinating story of survival and adaptation. A pond covered in duckweed looks like a layer of green dust, each speck an individual plant, no bigger than a pinhead. Despite their size, duckweed plants can multiply rapidly, quickly covering large areas of water. Duckweed lacks stems and grand flowers, but forms dense mats that can cover entire ponds. These mats help reduce sunlight reaching the water, which can keep the pond cooler and limit algae growth. Both plants share the same calm, sunlit waters, away from fast currents and deep shade. They thrive in these peaceful environments, where the water is still and nutrients are plentiful. Water lilies root in the mud, sending long stems to the surface, while duckweed floats freely, drifting with the breeze. This difference in lifestyle means they rarely compete directly, allowing both to flourish side by side. These two plants show different strategies, one anchored, one wandering, both thriving. Water lilies stand firm, while duckweed is always on the move, carried by wind and water currents. Their unique lifestyles allow them to dominate the quiet corners of the freshwater world. In these sheltered spots, they create habitats for countless other creatures, from snails to tadpoles. Water lilies create elegance and structure. Duckweed brings simplicity and speed. Together, they offer both beauty and function, shaping the pond's ecosystem in their own ways. Together, they shape the pond's green landscape, providing food and shelter for a variety of wildlife, and helping to keep the water clean and balanced. Each has found remarkable success in its watery realm, adapting perfectly to the challenges of life on the water's surface. Their differences highlight the diversity of life on water, showing how many solutions nature can invent for the same environment. Let's see how their special features keep them afloat, and how these adaptations help them survive and thrive in the ever-changing world of the pond. How do these remarkable plants manage to stay perfectly balanced on top of the water, never sinking beneath the surface? The secret lies in the unique design and structure of their leaves, which have evolved over millions of years to master the art of floating. Water lily pads, for example, are filled with specialized air spaces called parenchyma. These pockets act like tiny balloons, making the leaves incredibly light and buoyant, almost like natural life rafts drifting on the water. But these air pockets do more than just keep the leaves afloat. They also help transport vital oxygen from the leaf surface down to the roots, which are anchored deep in the muddy pond bottom, where oxygen is scarce. On top of that, a thick waxy coating covers the upper surface of the leaves. This natural waterproof layer repels water, ensuring the leaf stays dry and doesn't become waterlogged or sink. After a rainstorm, you can see water droplets bead up and roll right off, a clear sign of this clever adaptation at work. It's nature's way of keeping the leaves light and ready to float. Even the tiniest floating plants, like duckweed, use similar tricks. Despite their small size, duckweed plants have bodies filled with air sacs that keep them buoyant and allow them to form dense floating mats. Their curved undersides help them rest stably on the water, almost like miniature boats, perfectly adapted for life at the surface. The broad, flat shape of lily pads is another key adaptation. By spreading their weight over a large area, they take advantage of the water's surface tension, allowing them to float effortlessly. It's this remarkable combination of air pockets, waxy coatings, and wide, flat shapes that gives floating leaves their unique power to stay on top of the water. These adaptations transform the water's surface into a living stage, where floating plants thrive and create entire ecosystems for insects, frogs, and fish. Floating leaves are a marvel of natural engineering, perfectly suited for their watery world and essential to the life around them. That's how these extraordinary leaves defy gravity, turning the pond's surface into their own floating paradise. For water lilies anchored to the pond floor, getting leaves and flowers to the surface is a challenge. Their long, flexible stems, petioles, are soft and bendy, swaying with water movement. These stems are filled with air channels, making them buoyant and helping transport oxygen from leaves to roots. The stems act like snorkels, delivering air to roots buried in oxygen-poor mud. Water lilies can adjust stem length as water levels rise or fall, always keeping leaves at the surface. This flexibility ensures they capture sunlight and breathe, no matter the season. The stem is a vital link, connecting roots in the mud to leaves in the air. It's a masterpiece of adaptation, letting the plant thrive where few others can. The stem is more than support, it's a lifeline. That's the secret to the water lily's success. Land plant roots anchor and absorb water, but floating plants do things differently. Water lily roots form thick rhizomes in the mud, anchoring the plant and storing energy for winter. These roots focus on absorbing nutrients from the rich pond floor, not water. Oxygen is scarce in the mud, so the plant relies on its snorkel-like stems for air. Duckweed, a free floater, has a tiny root-like structure that dangles in the water. It doesn't anchor but helps keep the plant upright and stable. Duckweed absorbs nutrients directly from the water, making it efficient and fast-growing. Two strategies, one anchored in mud, one drifting and feeding from the water. Both are perfectly adapted to their floating lifestyles. Floating plants need sunlight, air, and nutrients, and they've mastered getting all three. By floating on the surface, they soak up maximum sunlight with their wide, flat leaves. Their leaves' top surfaces are exposed to the air, with tiny pores called stomata for breathing. The waxy coating keeps these pores open and functional. Water lilies feed from the mud, drawing up minerals through their roots and stems. Duckweed absorbs nutrients directly from the water, thriving on dissolved minerals. Duckweed's efficiency lets it double its population in days, quickly covering ponds. These feeding strategies let both plants dominate their habitats. Floating plants are solar-powered, air-breathing, and resourceful. Their clever adaptations make them champions of the pond's surface. That's how they grow, thrive, and shape their watery world. Next, let's see how they support life all around them. Floating plants are architects of vibrant pond communities. Lily pads create shade and shelter, protecting small fish and tadpoles from predators. Frogs rest on pads, dragonflies perch and lay eggs, and snails graze on the undersides. Duckweed mats provide habitat for tiny insects and invertebrates, offering food and protection. Fish and waterfowl, especially ducks, feed on duckweed, hence its name. These plants are nurseries for amphibians, with eggs and young finding safety among the leaves. Floating plants turn simple water into a thriving ecosystem. They provide food, shelter, and breeding grounds for countless creatures. They are the foundation of pond life, supporting animals large and small. Floating plants are nature's water filters. Duckweed absorbs excess nutrients like nitrogen and phosphorus, preventing harmful algal blooms. By outcompeting algae, duckweed keeps water clear and healthy. Water lilies shade the water, limiting sunlight for algae and helping sediment settle. Together, they act as a living lid, controlling water quality. Humans use floating plants in wastewater treatment to remove pollutants naturally. It's a green, sustainable way to purify water. Floating plants show how nature's solutions can inspire our own. Floating plants are more than pond decorations. They're survival experts. Their adaptations let them conquer the boundary between water and air. Water lilies and duckweed are ecosystem engineers, creating worlds teeming with life. They provide shelter, nurseries, and food for a wide range of animals. Their removal would collapse the pond's ecosystem. As natural purifiers, they help keep our freshwater clean and balanced. Floating plants are a lesson in sustainability and interconnectedness. Next time you see a pond, look closer. These floating wonders are vital to life. Even the smallest plant can have a huge impact, making our world healthier and more beautiful.